ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवते येनामविन्द्रवतो ॐ गणेशाय नमः। ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।
ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि
My pranams to all Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self. Today is the auspicious day of Guru Purnima. Purnima means full moon. Purnima also symbolizes Purnatva, the fullness, the completeness. Guru represents the completeness, fullness. That's why it is said, Purnamadam, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vashishyate. Purnam Adam, that. Purnam Idam, this. Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vashishyate. From infinite, this has come. This means whatever we see, whatever we experience. There are two aspects of creation, what we don't experience and what we experience. What we don't experience is consciousness, and what we experience is matter. The world, the creation has two parts, the consciousness and the matter. This is called Shiva and Shakti. Shakti is energy, the matter is nothing but energy. So that is Shiva, that is consciousness. Purnam Adam, that. Purnam Idam, from that consciousness, this has come. Even this is complete, full. This actually, when you say this, it consists of stars, planets, galaxies, living beings, non-living beings, mountains, valleys, space, wind, fire, water, earth. So all natural elements, living and non-living beings, even this is full. In between this and that, this is what is seen and that which is not seen. I am there. I am me. So this seems to be infinite and that seems to be infinite. In between I am finite. I am stuck in between two infinites. I am small, I am limited. So this is our feeling. So between two Purnatva, that and this, I am Apurna, that feeling is there in us. The feeling of incompleteness drives our life. The feeling that I am limited drives our life. Because I am limited, I want something, I desire something, I need this, I need that. So that urge for basic urge in our life is incompleteness, finiteness. One who has overcome this, one who has gone beyond this finiteness is called Sadguru or a realized master. That can happen when you realize that you are not the body, mind and intellect and you identify with the consciousness. When you are identified with the body, definitely every body is different. There is a separation. There is a black body, there is a white body, there is a fair body, there is a body with whitish complexion, there is a tall person, there is a short person, there is a handsome boy and there is a ugly boy. There's a beautiful girl. So this differentiation happens at the bodily level. We cannot identify with each other at the bodily level. Can we identify at the mental level? Mental level we have different desires, ambitions, hopes. At the intellectual level, each person has a different identity, idea. I am so and so, belief systems. So these are all, at each of these, at the body, mind and intellect level, creates more and more separation in us. Where there is separation, there is stress. Where there is stress, there is fear. So we live in constantly a sense of inadequacy, the fear and stress. Guru is the one, Sadguru is the one who has gone, he has risen above this, and the teaching of Sadguru is Nanu Nanemmudu ನಾನಲ್ಲ
ನಾನಲ್ಲ
ಈ ದೇಹ
ಈ ದೇಹ
ಮನ ಬುದ್ಧಿ
ಮನಬುದ್ಧಿ
ನಾನಲ್ಲ
ನಾನಲ್ಲ
ಸಚಿದಾನಂದಾತ್ಮ
ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದಾತ್ಮ
ಶಿವನಾನು ನಾನೇ
ಶಿವನಾನು ನಾನೇ
ಶಿವೋಹಂ
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 ಶಿವೋಹಂ.
ಶಿವೋಹಂ.
When we identify ourselves with our true nature, which is consciousness, then all the differences will collapse. When the differences collapse, the stress reduces. When the stress reduces, the fear drops. There is no longer a fear, there is no longer a stress, but there is pure love and compassion. When we see the differentiated world, human beings become ruthless, violent, greedy, okay, because you see only differences and you see only competition, you see only survival of the fittest. Whereas when you see the commonness, when you see the unifying factor which is consciousness, you start feeling all of us belong to the same one family, one consciousness, and this feeling is called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or we are all belonging to the same family of God, Vasudhaiva. So this feeling is a feeling of fullness. This is of completeness, because love gives the fulfillment, the peace gives the fulfillment, love and peace gives the completeness. And one who has attained that is Guru, and Guru Purnima is a respect and dedication to such a realized master. This tradition of Guru Purnima in India started with Vedavyasa Maharshi back about 5,300 years. The day Vedavyasa Maharshi was born was Purnima, and that Purnima is celebrated as Guru Purnima by the disciples of Vedavyasa Maharshi. India has a tradition of several sages, rishis, Raja Rishis, the kingly sages, empires, saints, Mahatmas, Sadgurus, and self-realized people over millennia, taking the wisdom of Atmadnan or self-realization. So this tradition all starts from the Vedic knowledge, that very simple or one line statement, that you are Tat Tvam Asi. Tat means that supreme reality you are. Whereas you are identified with the Prakriti, nature. This, when you identify with the Prakriti, you are stuck. When you identify with the Purusha or consciousness, you become free. So Tat Tvam Asi is the teaching of Vedas. So this teaching is elaborated in Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda. This teaching is elaborated in Vedanta Upanishad. Sri Vedavyasa Maharshi classified the Vedas and as Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda, and taught to his disciples so that the teaching of Vedas can continue over millennium. He saw the coming dark age of Kali Yuga, where there is a tremendous amount of ignorance, and for that period it requires transmission of wisdom. That's why he established a system of teaching from master to disciple. This system of teaching is called Guru Parampara. Any teaching requires a system of teaching. For example, you want to learn music, you have to learn music from a master. You cannot learn music from a tape recorder. Of course, you can sing, but to get a mastery over the music, over ragas, you need a guru. And the tradition of teaching from guru to shishya, over an unbroken tradition, it is called Guru Parampara, because the truth can be passed on from generation to generation. Vedavyasa Maharshi established system of this Guru Parampara so that the information, the Vedic wisdom can be transmitted through ages. So this is great contribution. In respect for that, we celebrate Guru Purnima. Also he did one more thing, that he saw that coming destruction in the Kali Yuga, the way human beings, knowledge of human beings, the ability of human beings to understand the highest Vedic truths. For that, he converted the essential Vedic teachings into stories called Puranas. There are 18 Puranas: Shiva Purana, Brahma Purana, Vishnu Purana, Garuda Purana, Devi Purana, like that, many Puranas. They are more in a very graphical way, very illustrative way, they tell the truths of the Vedanta. Ultimately, the truth is only one. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am pure consciousness. That is the truth. But for teaching people, you need different mechanisms. So that's what he did. Vedavyasa Maharshi composed Vedas, classified Vedas, and also established Guru Parampara and established the teaching of Vedic wisdom in the form of stories. If you see, India has gone through a tremendous dark age. More than about 1,000 years we have been under attack from various various forces. And most of them, they try to destroy the Indian system. Okay. For example, one of the invaders, he burnt Nalanda University, and the amount of the granthas or the texts which are there in Nalanda University, they took 6 months for them to burn, just to burn the books. People from many countries used to participate. What happened was that foreign invaders, when they invaded India, they tried to attack the education system in India so that we become uneducated. And this education system was they tried to destroy. And Vyasa Maharshi saw that, and as a backup for that, as a formal education collapses, the need of informal education for people. Informal education can pass on from one generation to other generation. That's why he composed Puranas. So a formal education system and informal education system was established by Vedavyasa Maharshi. That's why we have to be grateful to Maharshi. Even after 1,000 years of tremendous war and fighting and all, if still some amount of culture is surviving in India, it's thanks to Sri Vedavyasa Maharshi. Then this is one tradition, and this is the tradition of knowledge. A transmission of knowledge from one master to other master. And then there is a transmission of practical knowledge. Okay, practical knowledge is yoga. There are two systems, yoga and Vedanta. Yoga is knowledge. Vedanta is practice. Yoga is practice and Vedanta is knowledge. Veda is Vedic knowledge. So there is a system of knowledge transmission starting from Vedavyasa Maharshi, and it started from all the way from Narayana. Then there is a system of transmission of yogic knowledge. Yogic knowledge, yoga, hatha yoga, kriya yoga, and different kinds of pranayama and meditation practices which will help some beings. So this was started by Shiva, Adi Yogi Shiva. Shiva in the form of Dakshinamurti taught the yogic system to Saptarshis, 7 rishis. And these 7 rishis went to 7 different continents of the world to teach yoga. So practically all over the world, yogic knowledge was prevalent in one form or the other thanks to Saptarshis and Shiva. So there is 2 systems. One is knowledge, jnana, and other is yoga. We can say theory and practice. Both were there. And each of them got passed on from the master to disciple. So on this day, we pay our respect to Vedavyasa Maharshi, we pay respect to Adi Guru Shiva, and we pay respect to the whole Guru Parampara, the system of teaching of knowledge. So there is 2 parts to knowledge. One is information and other is transformation. Information can go from one person to other person. But transformation to happen, that information has to be internalized and realized. Not all the people who get the information become transformed. Okay? So there is a mechanism of transmitting the information. Out of 100 people who get the information, some 10 people get transformed. Not all the people get transformed. Because that you are, Tattvamasi, is a common knowledge. How many of people get transformed? They don't. Because it's information. Information, when you internalize it, realize the implication of that, it becomes a transformation. And one who is transformed becomes a living source of that information. The information can be just plain knowledge. Okay? When it becomes understanding, which means internalization, it becomes understanding. When it becomes your way of living, it becomes realization. So for example, there are a lot of medical books. That's information. Anybody can read it, but they can't become doctors. So somebody who reads the medical books, understands it, will he become a doctor? So he understands it. Okay? After that, he has to apply it. It should be living experience, then only he becomes doctor. Similarly, Tattvamasi, that the word is the information. Some people understand it, some people understand it, but very few people live it. Ultimately, you have to be, the truth should be living truth, not a bookish knowledge. And those who become living truth, they are called santas or saints or mahatmas. Now, they become the living truth and they live the truth in their life, but some of them may teach the truth to others and help others to become realized. Whereas some of the saints, they are happy, they have become peaceful. So they become Mahatmas. People come and pay respect to them and get their blessings and go. They are called saints. Whereas those people who are able to bring that wisdom in others, those who are able to light the lamp of wisdom in others, they are called Sadgurus or realized masters. There's a difference between the saint and the realized master. Saint has realized something, but is not able to bring about that realization in others. Even though his presence brings a blessing, peace to many people, the realization itself is not transmitted. So there is a transmission of information in terms of Guru Parampara, then there is a realization of some people, and out of the realized people, some of the people are able to bring that realization in others. Those who are able to bring the realization in others are called Sadgurus. So there is a tradition of Guru Parampara, there is a tradition of Santas, saints, there is a tradition of Sadgurus or realized masters. Today is an occasion to pay respect to Sadgurus, Santas and Guru Parampara who have contributed to this wisdom. So then there is, the wisdom itself has to be, a framework has to be put, a clear understanding has to be brought in, the knowledge has to be given in a structured way to people so that people can understand the information. This is the role of Acharyas. Sri Madhvacharya, Sri Ramanujacharya, Sri Shankaracharya. They took this wisdom and tried to communicate the wisdom in three different ways to people. Dvaita Parampara, Advaita Parampara and Vishishtadvaita Parampara is the way of teaching knowledge to people so that they can understand and practice in their life. So today is an occasion to respect all these Acharyas. So today, on the Guru Purnima day, we remember Sri Vedavyasa Maharshi, Sadashiva, Shiva, Saptarshis, Guru Parampara, Santas, Sadgurus, Acharyas, who have created a stream of the wisdom, a river of wisdom which is flowing throughout the country. And I wish that this river of wisdom flows throughout the world, benefiting all living beings, bringing peace and harmony throughout the world. So that is what Guru Purnima is all about. Guru principle is not a person. Guru is beyond a person. There's no way we can understand Guru. Guru is beyond thought, beyond mind, beyond intellect, pure consciousness. There's no way you can understand Guru. There's no way a human mind can understand Guru. That Guru principle is all pervading. That's why it's called Akhanda Mandalakaram व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. All pervading nature of the Guru. Guru principle is the fundamental principle. There is nothing other than Guru principle. When you understand Guru principle, it's the pure awareness, Shuddha Chaitanya is the Guru principle. That Guru principle operates through you. That Guru principle operates through all living beings. That Guru principle operates through every aspect of creation. That's why your mother becomes your Guru. Mother teaches you how to take food. Mother teaches you how to talk. Mother teaches you how to walk. The mother becomes first exposure of Guru principle to you. That's why mother is the first Guru. The father becomes the next Guru. He teaches you how to survive in life, how to succeed in life. Then your friends are there who will teach you. Then there are teachers of science, mathematics and physics. Guru principle operates through all of them. And your enemies are there. Guru principle operates through these enemies also. So you have to learn from enemies. Guru principle operates through sky, space, elements, animals. You can learn from each aspect of creation. When you learn from each aspect of creation, then you have understood Guru principle. Otherwise you have mistaken Guru for a body. There's a Guru principle which teaches you through nature, and without the Guru principle in you, you cannot understand it. Without awareness in you, you cannot understand it. Within you there is a Guru principle, without you there is a Guru principle, and this is what is responsible for wisdom. So that Guru principle we respect on the day of Guru Purnima. That Guru principle is all pervading. That's why we say Tvameva Mata, Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Deva Mama Deva Deva. Deva means light. The Guru principle appears in the form of light of awareness, light of self in all living beings. And that light is responsible for our life. All teaching in life, how to survive in life, comes from Guru principle. And finally, there is one master, realized master, one who shows the path of final liberation, called Sadguru, Tattvamasi. That he shows that principle in you. Such a person is called Sadguru. We respect Sadguru on the occasion of Guru Purnima. And there are many gurus who teach you yoga, Veda, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad. We respect all the gurus in your life. Those who teach you how to make a living, and those who teach you about life itself. How to make a living in life, living is called Aparavidya, the lower level knowledge. How to make a life itself, but life itself is called Paravidya. About living, you learn engineering, mathematics, physics, chemistry. Those are also gurus. We respect them because without them we can't survive in life. And Paravidya, higher wisdom, wisdom of the self-knowledge, self and Atma-Jnana. So those gurus we respect on this occasion. Finally, we bow down to Sadguru, a realized master who can show us the light of the self, Atma-Jnana, Atma-Jyoti in us. Sadguru shows the light of the self, Atma-Jnana in us, Atma-Guru in us. Finally, we realize that the Guru principle in us, Atma-Guru, is nothing but Sadguru. That realization happens in life. This is what's called liberation. On the occasion of Guru Purnima, we bow down with deep respect all the spiritual masters who are spreading the wisdom of the self, the light of self, Atma-Jnana, so that all the living beings have peace, love and liberation. We bow down to Sri Vedavyasa Maharshi, Guru Parampara, Sadashiva, Saptarshis, and all the realized masters, sadhus, Mahatmas, and Sadgurus. and all the acharyas
and all the acharyas
who are bringing this wisdom
who are bringing this wisdom
to all of us.
to all of us.
We bow down to
We go down to
all our teachers
all our teachers
who have given us
who have given us
aparavidya,
Aparavidya,
the wisdom for
the wisdom for
making living,
making a living,
and also
and also
paravidya,
Paravidya,
the wisdom of self.
the wisdom of self.
We bow down with deep respect
We go down with deep respect
to Sadguru,
to Sadguru,
the realized master.
the realized master.
Show us the path of peace.
Peace,
Show us the path of wisdom.
wisdom,
Show us the path of enlightenment.
enlightenment,
May this body,
this body,
mind,
mind,
intellect
intellect,
become the vehicle
become the vehicle
of the divine,
of the divine,
so that
so that
the divine light
divine light
of peace,
of peace,
of love,
of love,
of compassion
of compassion
spread throughout the world.
spread throughout the world.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
sukhino bhavantu.
sukhino bhavantu.
Let there be peace
Let there be peace
throughout the universe.
throughout the universe.
Let all living beings
All living
in land,
land,
sea,
sea,
forest,
forest,
and sky
and sky
have peace,
have peace,
love,
love,
liberation.
liberation.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
sukhino bhavantu.
sukhino bhavantu.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
sukhino bhavantu.
sukhino bhavantu.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
sukhino bhavantu.
sukhino bhavantu.
Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat.
What the kids, they are ignorance, they don't know. The kids, they are ignorance. They are innocence also, but they don't know what the state they are. The realized person, they know what they are, and they are innocence as well.
So, innocence is for the children, ignorance is for the grown up. In ignorance, you know that you don't know something. Innocence, you don't even know that you don't know something. Okay? In ignorance, there is knowledge that I know something, and there is also knowledge that I don't know something. Innocence, you don't even know that you don't know. Okay? So children are innocent, whereas adults are ignorant. Ignorance comes from knowledge. I know something, then definitely it means that I don't know something else. Along with the ignorance, there is a seeking to know something which I don't know. I want to know this, I want to know that. There is a seeking. There is a craving. Okay? There is an urge to fulfill that knowledge. In innocence, there is no urge at all. Things are taken as they are. Because you don't know that you don't even know.
There is something for no answer.
Something for no also you don't know. A child is innocent, soon it becomes ignorant as it grows up with the environment. And in the ignorance, how does ignorance grow? With the knowledge, ignorance grows. Everything you know there is something I don't know. More you know, the less you know. Right? Somebody goes to a doctor. Doctor, I have a earache. Oh, you have come to the wrong doctor. I am a right ear specialist. You are a left ear problem. Go to left ear doctor. So left ear specialist doesn't even know the right ear problem. Like that, more you know something, the less you know about others. And also you become more careful because you become more sensitive that I don't know so many things. And this is called ignorance. The child is innocent as it studies various subjects, what you call as aparavidya, it becomes more and more ignorant, at the same time more and more specialized in some subject. What is a specialist? Specialist is somebody who knows a lot about nothing. He comes to a stage, he takes such a narrow subject and knows so much about it that he doesn't know anything about anything else. Right? So let's say take diabetes. Diabetes is a specialist. So he becomes specialized in diabetes. First he was specialist in general medicine. Then he becomes specialized in diabetes. In diabetes you become more specialized. You become specialized in food, in specific food. And in that specific food you become specialized in some other food, raw food. In the raw food specialized variety. So you become more and more narrow as you become specialized. As you become specialized, your ignorance also keeps on increasing proportion to your specialization. Okay? So this is called ignorance. Then one day you come to know about spirituality, enlightenment, liberation. So knowledge of spirituality brings more and more knowledge of ignorance of spirituality. So I don't know this, I want to know. There's a craving. Lot of craving is there. Okay? To get that experience of spirituality, enlightenment and liberation. Because the more about knowledge of spirituality grows, the more ignorance also grows. Ignorance that I don't know. Because you are very, very acutely aware that I don't know. The more you become aware acutely, I don't know, the more urge grows. So like that it grows. Finally somebody realizes the self, realizes the spiritual truth, becomes enlightened. Okay? Then he loses that urge. Right? There's no longer urge of ignorance. Ignorance only has urge. Realization, there is no urge. So then if you ask him what is enlightenment, he will simply become silent. If you ask him what is ignorance, he will become silent. He will become silent. There is no seeking or craving for any more knowledge. There is nobody to say I am enlightened also, because I am is the ego which was craving for knowledge. So that ego itself is realized as false. So then what self is there is pure and innocent. For the pure and innocent self, there is no urge. There is no urge to do anything. There is no urge to achieve anything. There is no urge to become anything. Ignorance is the urge to become something. Okay? And it thinks that enlightenment is also becoming something. Right? That's the song now. One day my child will become what? Hero and pilot and like that. One day I will become enlightened. As if enlightenment is a state of becoming. Enlightenment is not a state of becoming. Enlightenment is a state of being. When you stop becoming anything, you will become enlightened. The becoming is for the ego. Being is for the self. The moment your urge to start becoming something stops, then enlightenment is there. Being is constant. The ego constantly wants to become something. Constantly wants to become enlightened also. So in that silence, the pure self is there, Atman is there. And that is called self-realization. So one who is the seeker disappears. One who is trying to recognize, one who is trying to become enlightened disappears. One who is seeking a recognition that I am enlightened disappears. There is enlightenment. So now you people have understood. Then you decide, okay, I will drop the desire for enlightenment also. The one who drops the desire for enlightenment is the ego. So you have to go beyond dropping the desire for enlightenment and seeking enlightenment. Both have to go. No. This enlightenment, seeking enlightenment is a problem because it's ego. So I'll drop the desire for enlightenment. The one who drops it also is ego. So you have to drop the ego, not the desire for enlightenment. This is the paradox of enlightenment. Clear? So from innocence, the journey is to ignorance. From ignorance, the back to innocence is journey of enlightenment. Any questions? The ego is very smart. This desire for enlightenment is very dangerous. So I will give up the desire for enlightenment. I will give up is that guy is enlightened. They are proud of. Okay. So now there is another guy who questions, am I enlightened? Okay, that question, guy who is asking that question, am I enlightened, has to be dropped, not the question. So like that, you have to go inside. Are you clear?
How do we know whether the ego is dropped or the desire is dropped?
How do you know that ego is dropped or desire is dropped? When ego is dropped, there's no questions. When desire is dropped, there is an answer, but some other question will open up. Are you clear? Okay, we'll meditate. When you chant Omkara, you should have bhava or feeling that whole universe is filled with vibrations of Omkara. Okay, the bhava or feeling should be that entire universe is nothing but matter, is nothing but Shakti, Shakti is nothing but energy, energy is nothing but vibration, entire universe is filled with vibrations of Omkara. So first you have to generate bhava for the meditation. Sit silently. Become aware of your breath. In breath, out breath. Become aware of your breath. Become aware of the nostril, the area where enters. Focus on area where air is touching the nostril, where it enters. A small area where in-breath is touching the nostril and out-breath is touching a small area at the nostril, at the entrance of the nostril. Become aware of the body from head to toe, from toe to head. Scan the body. Become aware of sensations of the body. Starts from the head. Become aware of the sensations on the skin of the head. Become aware of sensations on the face. Become aware of sensations of the ear. Become aware of the chest. Stomach. Hip. Thighs. Left hand. Right hand. Left leg, right leg, the feet, again scan from bottom to top. The feet, thigh, hips, stomach, chest, left hand, right hand, the face, neck, head, back, become aware of the whole body. Become aware of the breath again. Let us do Guru Vandana and Sankalpa. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri, Gurave Namaha, Dhyana Moolam, Gurur Murti, Puja Moolam, Gurur Padam, Mantra Moolam, Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam, Guru Krapa, Atma Darshanam, Brahma Darshanam, Atma Darshanam, Brahma Darshanam, Brahma Darshanam, Satya Darshanam, Satya Darshanam. Sankalpa. Atmano Mokshartham Jagadhitaya cha. For the self-realization and service to the world. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hands in blessing posture. Let there be peace throughout the universe. Let all living beings in land, sea, forest, and sky have peace. Lokaha samastaha Sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha Sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha Sukhino bhavantu. Keep your hands in Dhyana Mudra. Nanu Nanembudu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Sachidanandatma Shivananu Nani Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. Become aware of your navel area, stomach. Let us chant Akara Let the vibrations of Akara spread throughout the body from the navel center. The navel center is the center for energy for the body. Let us activate that center through Akara chanting. Let us chant Akara from the navel center. Focus on your heart area, chest area, Anahata Chakra. Let us chant Ukara, sending vibrations of purity, love to the Anahata Chakra. Let all emotions, Krishna is there, get dissolved, and let our heart be filled with divine love and compassion. Let that radiate through every cell of your body. We chant Ukara. Take your awareness gently to Ajna Chakra. Ajna Chakra is the center of intelligence. Let us purify the intelligence by chanting Makara. Let the vibrations of Makara propagate to every cell of the brain, spinal cord, purifying the intellect, aligning the intellect with the universal consciousness. Let us chant Akara, Ukara, Vakara in a single breath. So the energy rises from the navel center to the heart center and to the Adna. Let the vibration go from Adna throughout the universe. Feel that vibration spreading throughout the universe. Let us chant Omkara from the top of the head, Sahasrara. Let the vibrations from Omkara rise from the top of the head, reach all the way, spreading throughout the galaxy, reaching even the sun. Visualize that and chant Omkara. Sit silently with awareness of the sensation at the top of the head or forehead. With the understanding, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm pure consciousness, one with Shiva. असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ओम शांति 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 Have your hands in blessing posture. Let there be peace. Throughout the universe. Let all living beings. In land. Sea. Forest. And sky. Have peace. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु Slowly open your eyes. Namaskar. Let us offer our pranams to all Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self who have gathered here today for the satsang. Second pranams to Rekha and Shashidhar and those who have organized this event today. Last pranams to Sadguru, Guru